The Supreme Court today blocked a vaccine mandate for large businesses. The Supreme Court ruling prevents the Biden administration from requiring that employees at large companies get vaccinated against the CCP virus or undergo weekly testing and wear a mask on the job. At the same time, the court is allowing the administration to proceed with a vaccine mandate for most healthcare workers in the United States. The Biden administration announced Thursday it will make high-quality masks free for Americans. The administration is also doubling its order of at-home COVID tests, with plans to make 1 billion test kits free for Americans.
But I know that for some Americans, the mask is not always affordable or convenient to get. So, next week we'll announce how we are making high-quality masks available to the American people for free.
Biden also said the administration will roll out a website next week where Americans can order the free test kits and have them shipped to their homes. The U.S. is still dealing with a spike in COVID cases brought on by the Omicron variant. COVID hospitalizations in the U.S. reached a record high of over 150,000 on Wednesday. 19 states have less than 15% remaining capacity in their ICUs. The U.S. Producer Price Index rose by 9.7% in 2021, according to a Labor Department report released on Thursday. This increase, measuring wholesale prices for goods and services, is another indicator that inflation will continue. On Wednesday, the Labor Department released a report showing inflation hit its largest spike in 40 years, with a big jump in consumer prices. Some reports suggest inflation may affect Democrats in future elections. House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy lays blame on President Biden. On Thursday, he said this:
"We have the highest inflation rate in 40 years, causing prices to surge. That increase you see there all happened under President Biden's watch."
The controversial Beijing Winter Olympics are only 3 weeks away. Human rights organizations and governments of several countries, including the U.S., have raised concerns over human rights abuses by the Chinese Communist regime. A group of bipartisan lawmakers are asking the International Olympic Committee to make sure that the uniforms used in the Games are not linked to forced labor. Key members of the Congressional Executive Commission on China penned a letter to express their concerns. They're asking for more information about the IOC's contracts with 2 Chinese companies that use cotton produced in the Xinjiang region. The lawmakers wrote that cotton produced in Xinjiang is, quote, synonymous with forced labor and the systematic repression that takes place there. Last month, the president signed a law banning imports from Xinjiang unless companies can prove the products were not made with forced labor. Senator Marco Rubio is sending a letter to President Biden, asking him what steps his administration has taken to ensure that the U.S. Olympic athletes are sufficiently protected from Beijing's surveillance and manipulation. The senator's office is raising concerns about U.S. athletes using the Chinese regime's digital currency. Beijing is pushing for visitors and major U.S. credit card companies to use the currency during the Winter Games. It requires users to download a software for transactions. In the letter, the senator said that the threat this poses to Americans is enormous because the software is likely to be harmful. Chinese software and spyware have long been known for collecting information from Americans. The Biden administration on Wednesday imposed its first sanctions over North Korea's weapons programs. This is after a series of missile tests by Pyongyang, including 2 since last week. Secretary of State Antony Blinken calls these tests profoundly destabilizing. Secretary Blinken talked about his concerns of North Korea's recent missile tests during an interview with MSNBC.
In recent weeks has been renewed missile tests, something that is profoundly destabilizing. It's dangerous, and it contravenes a whole host of UN Security Council resolutions.
The sanctions by the Treasury Department target 6 North Korean individuals, 1 Russian individual, and 1 Russian firm. 4 of those North Koreans are based in China. The U.S. is accusing them of procuring goods for the weapons programs from China and Russia.
This is about our ongoing efforts to prevent the advancement of the DPRK's WMD and ballistic missile programs and to follow.
The U.S. proposes that 5 of those individuals also be blacklisted by the UN Security Council, but it will require a consensus by the 15-member North Korea Sanctions Committee. Russia and China are both on that committee, and Beijing has openly opposed U.S. sanctions. Since taking office last year, the Biden administration has sought unsuccessfully to engage in dialogue with North Korea and make it give up its nuclear and missiles programs. But the State Department says the U.S. remains committed to pursuing diplomacy with Pyongyang. The Pretrial Services Agency is a small federal agency, and they are announcing a new rule related to their COVID-19 vaccine mandate. A public notice this week says workers who seek religious exemptions will be added to a list. The notice did not say why the agency needs to create the list. Most federal employees' requests for religious exemptions have so far been denied. According to analysts from the Heritage Foundation, the Pretrial Services Agency is being used in a test. There may eventually be an effort to create a database of employees with religious beliefs across the federal government.